Right, since the last video then you'll notice I've just resized these fields. I've also labelled my combo box with customer. Let's have a look at the order form as it stands. Well, I'm happy with the initial part of completing this order. We've got our combo box for customer now, so we don't need to know the actual customer ID to be able to store it on a particular order. What we want to look at now is the input for the actual items on the order itself. So the best demo, I guess, is to just show you a new order form. If I select a customer for that and a date for the order, can you notice how access already at the moment, if I wanted to add items to it, I'd have to type in the item ID and the quantity, but I'd need to know off the top of my head what that code, which item that represented. So it's not very user friendly at the minute, and so that's what we're going to look at changing. So let's go into design view, okay, and delete this subform off, and we're going to make a new form that we're going to embed onto this overall order form. So let's cross this off and press yes. And so the form that we want to make, I'm just going to delete that because you don't need to see that. The form I'm going to make is for this table here, because this is the table where I record the items on a particular order, and I'm just going to create a form based on that table. And the first thing you'll notice about this form is it's not the most practical in terms of it shows all the items on a particular order on a separate page. So let's see if we can improve this situation, and let's go into design view again, and let's select from here and the property sheet. And what we can do is, rather than having just a single record on each page, we can turn it to continuous forms. If I preview that, it shows all the items on one single page, so all the records on one single page. So it's an improvement, but we've still got the problem with relying on all these ID codes and understanding what they mean, which we want to get rid of. So let's go back into design view again of this form, and let's start off by thinking what we actually want to include on the data entry form. Well, I don't really need to include order item ID because that's going to be automatically made for me because it's the primary key of that table and it's set as auto number, so our user's not going to have to input that or know about it anyway, so let's delete that off. With order ID, as we saw, Access is quite clever and it automatically populates this field for us. So again, let's take this one out, okay, which leaves us with item ID and quantity. Okay, now those two on their own is better, but I still don't know what the item is, so let's see if we can improve that situation, or its price. Well, I can improve that situation. I'm just going to move these up the pecking order here, so item ID, and let's move quantity up there as well. Okay, let's include the description then, and to do that, if I go to add existing fields and grab the description, well, because we've got the item ID on here, it can automatically look up that description for me and put that in, so I'm going to drag that into that space there. And the price as well, the same thing. If we've got the item ID, we can look up the price, and we can hopefully populate that. So let's have a view of this form now and see what it's looking like. Okay, well, that's looking much better. It's just about the layout now. So if I go into design view, I need to do a bit of layout changing, and so the first thing I'm going to do is resize these, because those fields are huge and they do not need to be that big at all. So let's carry on with the resize, bring those right down. Okay, and now the next thing I need to do is spread these across a little bit, because I think at the moment going vertical is a bit inefficient in terms of space that's going to take up my order form. So let's have them going horizontally. To do that, I'm going to highlight all the fields and I'm going to right click and I'm going to take them out of this default layout that they're in at the moment, so I can move them individually. So I've got item ID, I've got all the fields, and I can move these wherever I want. So remember, use the grey box to move the field independently to its label, like so. And what I want to do is list all the labels along the top and all the fields underneath their label. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I've just spent a little bit of time just reordering those fields and their labels. The other thing I'm going to do just to complete this form is just resize it, because that footer does not need to be that big. Okay, this is the section that's going to repeat and repeat, and also I don't really need to include a header on this form, so let's see if we can get rid of that as well by dragging it up. So if I take that out and then drag that up. Okay, and let's have a preview of that now. Okay, that's looking better. What I need to do in the next video is then add this on to my order form. So let's do that in the next video.